So the last game I played this year, in a year that I won't get to play a lot of games because I'm too busy doing like shit in my Tomodachi Life Island. Sadly, that means that one of the last games I'll get to play this year was Pokemon Pokopia, which I say sadly for the not playing games. Because Pokemon Pokopia itself, I actually really liked it. It's like Minecraft with Pokemon. It's actually like pretty enjoyable. Well, at least I enjoyed it throughout. The only problem with it is, oh my god, it overdoes the tutorial so much. So that's kind of why I like dubbed it Tutoria, Tutopia, because it genuinely is just one ad after another. Trying to do some spiral staircases, by the way, and I don't think I'm doing a good job, but I may want to do these off because these are hard to get right. But yeah, I mean, man, to like Pokopia was a really good game, but it does suffer from something that's kind of a serious issue, and I didn't adore that it suffered from it. But I think Pokemon Tutopia suffered from having too many tutorials. The entire game feels like a goddamn tutorial, and it's a shame because it's really fun. But what's the point of the fun if all the time it's gotta be a tutorial? So one thing I felt a lot about the game is that like oftentimes I'd want to go do my own thing and discover the mechanics by my own, and then I couldn't. To the point where there were instances in the game where the game was like, "No, you cannot proceed because you haven't done the you have not completed the tutorial first." And I'm like, "Really? You're gonna force me to do the tutorial?" Turns out, yes. But yeah, I gotta say, I didn't adore that the game was like 80% tutorial. It didn't I didn't really dig it a lot. It's hard to talk about it because it does feel kind of bad that the game's like so much tutorial and so little letting the player discover shit for themselves. Because like I don't know, it's based on Minecraft, and I know Minecraft is often a game that you kind of like find a tutorial online, and they of course didn't want to do that. But what I imagine is many reasons from like a game design perspective that I mean they probably make sense. Minecraft is not a particularly well designed game when it comes to game design situation. Don't get me wrong, I love Minecraft, but yeah, its game design does leave something to be desired for like the high studios and whatnot because Minecraft is just that kind of game that like thrives of not being properly designed. And you can tell me it is properly designed and whatnot, it is not. For as much as it is a sandbox and the player gets to do whatever the heck they want, it just it genuinely is just that as it is. So yeah, I personally don't think that it's that well designed Minecraft, but it's still really enjoyable. Like I can't complain about Minecraft. To me, it's still a game that I can play for hours at a time and just forever and never get bored. Hey, now you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Sorry. It's just that kind of game. So when you try to translate it into like a proper game in terms of like selling it as a product, big Nintendo line, yeah, they clearly ran into problems. So it ends up with the game having way too much tutorial to a degree that's just not cool. There were genuinely many things in the game that I thought, oh, I can't do this yet. And then I went back to an older world and they was like, oh, you completed the main objective, but you didn't do the side objective that literally teaches you like how the game is played genuinely. And you're just like, really? You're gonna tell me that I didn't do the tutorial on how to place water, so I couldn't place water in the future until I needed to place water? And then I had to go back. Dude, it's that kind of stuff. It was just too much tutorial, too little cool. I'm not sure what I think about this. I think I'm doing some bullshit here with this build. You know what they say? Always finish the build first before you actually start complaining, and then you're gonna realize that it is shit, and you just go like, wait, I can't put a block there. Wait, why did it start to rain? Just so the file size is bigger? Of course, it's gonna start to rain just so the file size is bigger. Who am I to doubt that? At least make it a daytime rain. You know, I like rain, like even in Minecraft, for annoying as it can be. Hmm, interesting. Why is this 3 blocks down? This one only 2 blocks down. What? What? I'm a little confused on how this works. Now, aside from the tutorial bit, I definitely did enjoy the rest of Pokemon Pokopia. I'll say it. Yeah, Pokemon Pokopia was pretty, really good. And I really, really liked it. Again, for as much as it had tutorials, it still just inspired my Minecraft in one way or another. So, just that inspiration genuinely made it work. So, in case you don't know, yeah, it's basically Minecraft but with Pokemon. And you like go around and make little habitats for the Pokemon. And the Pokemon start living in like your cities that you build. That's a really cool mechanic. I think that's a really cool fusion of like the Minecraft game and Pokemon, because I think I've said this many times. I'm not sure if I said it in this channel, but I am incapable of playing Pokemon games. I just can't. Genuinely incapable of doing it. Something about it just stops me. And so, yeah, it is kind of surprising when I got into Pokemon Pokopia. And it is like, cool. Of course, I can always play the spin off. This happens to me with Pokemon a lot, though. That, like, I can't play the main games, but the spin offs are fine. The spin offs I fuck with heavy, so no problems there. But if I make this, like, curved on this side, and there's just an appeal to being a little Pokemon and going around and making homes for other little Pokemon, and then you start building houses for the Pokemon and furniture for the Pokemon. You decorate the world around what you think the Pokemon would like. That's a great like framing device, and it works well for the game. That was got to be one of my most enjoyable things. I didn't like the following system. Like you can make like Pokemon follow you, and when they follow you, they kind of like do little quirky thingies. If you have a fire, you need a fire Pokemon, and you bring the fire Pokemon, and it's like, oh, I'll help you light it up, and then they get happy that they helped you light it up, and they do cute shit. So that whole bit actually works surprisingly well. I was actually having a lot of fun with that idea. It's just it got annoying after a while when it plopped down a campfire, and I was like, no, now I want, you know, to light up fire, and I can't. And it's cool because even if you do that, you can still find solutions. Just like with Minecraft, you can find solutions for like the stuff that happens. All right, we do need to close it here. Maybe I can add like some like bulge here. Some bulge. No, but maybe doing no doing a little bit of this. Yeah. I don't know how this is gonna look, so stop changing that. Oh, no. But yeah, it was just that kind of game. One thing I didn't like a lot is that the game genuinely feels like hopefully untested when you actually play it. It feels like they tested a bunch of the mechanics, but they didn't actually test what the gameplay experience was in story mode. The story mode in this game is kind of silly because it's just you doing a bunch of tasks and building a bunch of shit, and some Pokemon going, "Yay, you did it." I actually think that isn't that bad. It's just, well, it isn't perfect. Let's just leave it at that. Actually, gonna do it like this. Hmm, this is a little better. Maybe? I don't know. The story mode, it didn't feel right to me because, again, it has just this air of being untested because there's so many moments where I just got when like, did anybody test this? In my mind, I just thought to myself, did anybody test this? Almost constantly. And I do wonder why, like, I got that because, but do I wonder why I got that? I feel like in a way I don't wonder why I got that. In a way, I think I understand that the reason why I got that is, yeah, they didn't test it. It's clear that they needed a story mode, so like they actually can motivate players to come up with something to do because it's very hard to convince players to just come up with what they want to do themselves. Minecraft's just that kind of game where it's like, hey, you're gonna build that whatever the fuck this is that I'm building, and I'm just here like la 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 placing blocks and then trying out different design ideas so that I can actually build it in my main world. And it's like that's a big ask for casual people. Casual people who play Minecraft just like build one house and that's it. It's over. They don't build anything else. They just said, I played enough. Maybe they go kill the Ender Dragon. It's people who don't really like play the game. They enjoy the experience of the game. But they're not really playing the entire game. They're just playing the little bits that they like. It's not fake. It's not like they're doing a bad thing. It's just they aren't getting into the weeds of the game. They're not exploring the mechanics deeply, and they're not doing anything. And Minecraft is also the kind of game that's committed to just giving you a moment. Recently, they announced the campsite, and they're gonna have copper golems, and it's like I can absolutely already see it happening. There's gonna be people who are gonna play Minecraft for the first time without looking up any guides, and they're gonna find a copper golem in one of those campsites, and then they're gonna go to a trial chamber because they're gonna find a map, and then they're gonna go to the trial chamber and realize, wait, I can de-rust this guy. So they're gonna go back home and they're gonna de-rust the guy, and they're gonna realize, holy fuck, and it's gonna be their favorite moment of playing like something ever. That's like the kind of stuff that can only happen if you let the player to their own devices. But again, most people don't know how to be led to their own devices when it comes to gaming. So there we have like Utopia, which understands this and it just wants to be a fun game for however many hours people play. Probably like 40 hours. I personally played 40 hours. A little bit more, like 80 hours. And then, yeah. And then Tomodachi came out, but I would have played more if Tomodachi hadn't come out. And it's like, it's not a bad idea conceptually to have a story mode, but it does feel kind of lame when you play the story mode and then you get to the end and it turns out the whole entire thing all along was just a big setup for a Team Rocket's blasting off a game joke. I wish I was lying. No, the entire game is just a setup for that, which to me is actually kind of insane. Also kind of awesome, but yeah, kind of insane. it kind of did make me laugh quite a bit when I realized, wait, really the entire game's just a setup for Team Rocket's blasting up again? Okay. Blasting up. But I mostly say that as a joke. Like, I don't think the game's actually all a setup for that joke. It does feel like it though. And again, that comes a lot with the whole thing I said about the game feeling wholly untested. For like, you know, the story mode. So many times I felt like I missed stuff or didn't do stuff right, and then there were many times where I wanted to go and do my own thing and I couldn't because the game was like, no, 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 you can't do that. You're supposed to listen to me right now. Me. It was just that kind of game. Why is the rain lasting forever? I also was kind of disappointed by the way they handled NPCs. Because on the one hand, I like the idea of NPCs like Pokemon. And it's really fun to just have your own Pokemon and whatnot. But I feel like I couldn't form a special bond with any other Pokemon. Because they will all always be too nice. There was not a single instance of a Pokemon going, no, I don't like you. Not a single one. And to me, that just didn't feel good. I didn't like that. I didn't love that the game just insisted on me being like that with the Pokemon. It didn't make it special when I found like my favorite, and my favorite did nothing special, no special dialogue, no special nothing. In fact, it's kind of weird because most dialogue in the game is just you find a Pokemon because you build their habitat and they show up and they threaten you to attack you, and it's supposed to be charming. And I'm just there like, no. No, it isn't. No, it ain't. Alright, I like the idea of this being opened like this. But I think this needs to be a full block. And then maybe, you know, a little bit of this. Nice. Hold on, give me a sec. Amazing. I just had to stop recording because someone came in and made me smell soup. That literally just happened. Someone came in and was like, please smell my soup. I don't know if it's bad. Hold on. Let's give this the BIP treatment. Oh yeah. There we go. I actually want to close it up here. Yeah, I do kind of wish more interactions in Pokopia were less about the Pokemon trying to beat you up and hurt you. And you're supposed to be like, yay, happy world of Pokemon. We're making a new Pokemon. The storyline I felt had a lot of potential that just ultimately went unmet. It just felt like, I don't know. I didn't love how the story went, because the story is like actually super tragic. The story of the game pretty much comes down to the world ended because there were 20 million natural disasters a second, and humans had to flee. And so they put like a thing, like they created like this phone app and this infrastructure so that the Pokemon may like survive without the humans and learn to make their own civilization while the humans are in space because they had to flee the planet. Number one, I don't know where that fits at all in the Pokemon timeline because I don't know anything about Pokemon. It drives me insane that that's just a thing that happens. What do you mean that's like a canon thing? When does it happen? Is that like the end of the canon? Or is this a thing that this game made up? I don't know. And you know what? I do want to know. I do want to know. I'm gonna say I don't want to know, but I do want to know. And it's actually kind of really tragic when you see that that's the storyline, because you basically have, you know, the characters just walking around this world, in this universe, trying to sort of figure out what they want to do now, because, you know, all humans are gone. No one's there anymore. Everything's like over except for Pokemon communities. And then you find these notes from the people like in space. And they're like, yeah, I remember my friend Timothy, whom I cooked with every night. I hope Timothy's okay when we leave the planet, because we can't take the Pokemon. You know, because the spaceship doesn't fit them or whatever. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. And I kind of like it because it's a deep and good story, but it also kind of falls flat depending on certain situations. Okay, so this is stupid as fuck, and I don't know if I like it. I genuinely don't know if I like any of what I'm doing here. That's kind of why I'm stuck. I'm having a hard time talking about Pokemon. Because it's like... Is this good? Is this good? This feels real bad. This feels bad. I don't know what I'm doing. Can I do it like this? Man, this is just some random bullshit go. Not likey, not likey. I might scrap all of this. So what the fuck is this? Just blocks placed in random locations. I guess maybe if I add a little bit of detail, it may look fine. But I'm looking forward to it. One final thing to say about Bokopia. Yeah, fuck game keycards. I got this game along with my Switch 2 because I wanted to get a Switch 2 for like Tomodachi, since I was gonna be playing Tomodachi, which I keep bringing up. Yes, I love Tomodachi. I'm a big fan of Tomodachi. Tomodachi makes me happy. It pleases me. And so yeah, I knew that I was gonna want to do it because of Tomodachi. And so I got it, and then I was like, oh, I need a game, right? I don't want to have nothing to play from now until like Tomodachi comes out. So I had to pick a game, and I picked Pokopia because I heard very good things about it. And I said, hey, I'm gonna get a in-game keycard because I like physical media. And that's because I didn't realize it was a game keycard, basically. And that's kind of a shame because I ended up spending like 20 extra monies that I should have. 20, not dollars, but I ended up spending a little bit more than I wanted. Guys, the purple Teletubby did not help. The purple's not helping. But yeah, I didn't get the game key card, which to me, no likey. How does one fix this build? How does one fix this shit? Oh my god, it's so ugly. But yeah, I give Pokopia a really good grade. It is definitely improvable between all the tutorials. I wish there was more unique dialogue for the NPCs. But beyond that, an extremely fun Minecraft lag. So yeah, I totally do recommend it. Alright, that's it. See ya.